Did you know, since 1985, Crime Stoppers has helped solve close to 8,000 crimes in New Brunswick? Crime Stoppers, 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477 or www.crimenb.ca.
So much for tuning in this evening to What Matters Most. I am your host for the show, Heather Acker. And tonight is Wednesday, May 1st. I feel like we've finally found spring. Let's just hope it keeps up, and it's going to be a beautiful weekend. Cross our fingers. So What Matters Most is all about social events that are going on in St. John, interesting people, interesting opportunities that I like to bring on TV and give some awareness to. So if you know somebody in your neighborhood that would like to come on our show, give me a holler at rogerstv.com. So with no further ado, I would like to introduce my first guest, and his name is Leo Girard. Hi, Leo.
Hi, Heather. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming on our show today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. That's great.
So let me tell you, We Biddy Builders is your company.
That's right. Yeah.
So obviously, you're building something small.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you tell our audience what We Biddy Builders is?
Well, we build tiny houses, and they've all been tiny houses on wheels. So they're all, they range from 20 feet long to 40 feet long, and they're tiny.
I've had the luxury of being able to see one of your homes at one of the recent home shows. I think it was maybe a year ago or 2 years ago.
Yes, yeah.
And actually going into it. Now, I've watched, of course, television where they show these wonderful shows of people building small homes. Is it popular more now than it was, or has it always been there and I just never knew about it?
Well, we started in 2016, but ever since then it's really gained a lot of it right off the bat. It had a lot of interest to it. So I built my first one in my driveway just to kind of get a feel for how everything worked. And even people just driving by down the street would pull in, do you mind if I have a look? And they would come in. So it was a constant flow of traffic, people coming in, turning around and looking at it, so right off the bat, it seemed like it was something that people were interested in, for sure.
Yeah. And I found out that when being inside of one, especially where it was indoors at the home show at the time, how much space you actually have in it. Like, you really utilized crooks and corners and you name it. You've thought of all the aspects. Now, where do you come up with those plans or ideas?
A lot of it is just what you see on the shows or online, or people will come to us with pictures of something that they've seen or something they want, and it's all there's so many different ideas and different cool things in these units that it's endless, really. But it's all people that come to us and have things that they want built.
Right. Yeah. How many Wee Biddy homes have you built?
We built 7 last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're on pace. We're to do 10 or 12 this year. So. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you build them indoors?
They're all built inside. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And how is the process? Do you start with a base, or how do you go about doing that?
We order our trailers. Our trailers are built here in Rexton, New Brunswick. And we order it. So if somebody comes in and they want a 24-foot tiny house, and we would order that trailer, it gets built. And they send it down to us, and then from that point we frame it and bolt everything down and get started from there. We work with the customers to get their plans and designs, and they'll just draw it out on a piece of graph paper, something very simple, and that's all it takes, and that gets us started.
Oh, that's really neat. Yeah. Now, a majority of purchasers that you would have coming to you or asking the questions, what kind of people are buying into these little tiny homes, and what are they using them for?
Most of the ones we've built have been for cottages.
Okay.
We have one in Halifax that their people are living in year round. Them and 2 cats. And we have one that we built for the forest school, the Tiernanog Forest School. That's here in St. John for Tim John. We built that one for him, so that one's for a little schoolhouse.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, but after that, it's been all cottages, summer places. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And do you ever see, for instance, there ever be a maybe a community of wee bitty homes? Could
We're
that be
hoping.
happen?
We're hoping, yeah. We've talked to a few developers and a few different and people in the city here, and we're hoping to kind of get something like that. So instead of having a mobile home park or like that, you could have like a little tiny house park. Kind of
I
thing.
think that's really
And
cute.
they have them in the U.S. and they really are amazing, or they're really nice, yeah. So
Is
so it'd
that
be
right?
nice to have something like that for here for sure, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just to get everybody's head around. There's still people out there that don't even know what a tiny house is, so it's to kind of educate and get people aware of it and everything too. So, and this show helps. So
So do you need a permit to actually have a piece of land or to place one of these somewhere? Or is it like a bigger, larger home? Or do you have different kind of demographics around where you can put these little places?
It all depends on the municipality. So
Oh, okay.
anybody that wants to put one would have to check. Here would be St. John, or if you lived in Rossay or Quispam. So each one has their own. They all kind of have their own regulations and their own ideas of where they should be and shouldn't. So that's key, is to talk to them and get an answer from them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the largest one that you've built so far?
The largest one was the forest school. That was 33 feet long, that one.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that one was 33 feet long. And they're all 8'6", because the Department of Transportation that's on the road is 8'6". So
Okay.
width is all the same.
So if I was having a mobile home, I could either have a small home and take it from place to place, just like you
Yes.
could a mobile home.
Oh,
like
yes.
a
Yep, yep.
Mobile home.
Yep.
Wow. With the, where do you find all your supplies for this? Like, is it local, or do you have to, because some of them are so, I would say, intricate and unique, with like stairs and railings, and is that something you'd create?
Yeah, we build most of that stuff ourselves. So and what we can't build, you go online, or you try to find places where you can get, because there's one of the ones we're building now, they have a wood stove in them, and the wood stoves are only small. They're only little tiny things made just for that. So those things you couldn't buy in St. John, but you can order them online. And so there's a lot of products out there that are kind of designed for tiny houses, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you find a lot of also the products that you can use in boats are similar to what you use in tiny
Oh.
houses, because it's a similar. In a boat, everything is a cramped space and a small that you try to fit in little things. So there's a lot of products that you can use in boats that you can use in tiny houses.
Oh, yeah, especially like the bathroom situations,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Or
Yeah,
sinks?
and stoves and heaters and that type of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Have you got any thoughts of what you would like to see in a tiny home at some point? Have you got some dreams of what you're going to put in a tiny home?
Most of the dreams come from the customers. They come and they give us ideas. Like, they'll come to us and something that they've thought of, and then it's our job to kind of make that happen. Because
Wow.
we had a customer that came to us last year. They wanted the elevating beds. So we
Oh.
built. He had an elevating bed on both sides of his. So it was a garage door opener that we had to set up, and it raised the bed up into the ceiling when they're finished with it.
Oh,
So
very
you
cool.
had that living space underneath afterwards. So. So
Nice.
that was something he thought of, and then he gave us some ideas, and then we went and figured out how to make that work. So
Wow.
most of the dreams come from them, but we do have our own ideas, but we're just too busy doing their stuff first.
Well, that's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Is there a big waiting list for you? Like, if I wanted to say, well, gee, Leo, I'd love to have a wee bitty home or a small home in 8 to 10 months, is that something you could take on, or do you actually have to schedule people for building? Like,
Yeah.
what's your timeline?
Yeah, we schedule them, but it's right now we're building right up until the end of June type thing. So we have a couple. We build 2 at a time. So
Okay.
we can so we've got 4 this year that we've got started, and we've got a couple others lined up after that. So yeah, we could still squeeze a few in for summer for sure if people are interested. So.
Well, that's really neat.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's that you've got some for like cottages. That's a perfect size, especially
Oh,
if you
yes,
want
for sure, yeah.
to, just park it somewhere. And you would need. Do you need like electricity and all that, or is that all self-generated opportunities within
If you get an off-grid unit, there's we have them that are solar and that are propane and,
Okay.
and composting toilets, so they're a total off-grid unit.
Yeah.
And then some that are going to hook up to water and septic and power and that kind of thing too. So it just depends on the needs. Again, what the person wants, what they have, the lot they're putting it on, where it's going to go. So you kind of make that work for them so that it fits their environment too.
Okay. And with your with Airbnb being a big opportunity, Can you tell us a little bit about how the tiny homes are fitting into that sort of industry now?
Yeah, well, we've had a few. We have 4 tiny houses in Nova Scotia, and 3 of them are in Cape Breton. One of them is it's a unit called Bougainville. It's called that's what he calls it on Airbnb.
Okay.
And it's really popular because a lot of people like the idea of spending the night in a tiny house. It's something new. They see it on TV, and he's got a beautiful spot there too. It's right on the water and stuff too. So it's a beautiful right in the ocean and everything. So yeah, they've been renting out like all of the ones that we've sold for Airbnb have been booked up solid. Like they can't. Some of them are thinking about getting a second one built so that they can, because they're doing well with it for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you have one yourself? Do you live in a tiny home right now?
No, I don't. I don't live in a tiny house. I did downsize recently, but not that.
Not that small.
Not that small yet. No. But it's it's certainly something that a person could be comfortable in for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
And is there some here in St. John that if somebody was to drive by a neighborhood and would see it, or is that something private that you can't share?
No, there is one in Kennebecasis Island that they have for cottage at Kennebecasis Island.
Okay.
So once that opens, I think it opens in May sometime, they could go out and have a look at that one.
Sure.
And we have the school, the forest school. We have one in Mactaquac, and then there's one going up in the Narrows as well. We have one in Plaster Rock, so they're kind of spread out. And we have a few in Nova Scotia as well too. So,
Wow.
so they're out there, but just got to track them down.
My goodness. So people can come see you, can they?
Yes, anytime. Yeah, we encourage people to drop by our shop because again, it's all about promoting, getting people to have a look at it, and people are excited about it. So anytime somebody wants to drop in to our location and come in and see what we're building and see what we've got, it's helped spread the word and get people people into it too. So
Yeah. Do you get very many visitors at all, or?
yeah, we do. We're surprised. And yeah,
do you have a tiny house on the side of the road that says Arrow Wee Bitty Builders?
No, we do have it. There's a couple of, because usually once they're the 2, we have 2 there right now that are sold, but we haven't delivered them yet because everything's kind of too wet and we can't really deliver. The ground's too soft.
Okay.
So those are there, so the people can come by and see those, and then they can see what we're building, what we have in the shop as well too. We get 2 inside that we're working on now, that are at different stages of being built too. So.
And do you ever have some of the people you're building for want to have a hands-on as well, or is it something that you just do yourself?
Yeah, no, we've had people come in and kind of ask to do that, but we haven't had that, like the ones that have talked about it, we haven't nailed down the sale, I guess, either. So, but we're open to that. It's because some people, now the one that we built in one of the ones in Cape Breton, we partially did his because he wanted to finish the interior of it himself.
Okay.
So we did the exterior and everything. Then he would put his own personal touches on the inside. So we're open to that idea to, because some people like to do that kind of thing to make it their own kind of thing too. So we can do partial builds and then they can finish it.
Wow. And they can tell you what they would like in it, like what kind of supplies and such that they want
everything.
in it.
Yeah, they pick everything. Yeah, we just tell them, they have a budget, and then they go out and pick lights. They pick paint colors and flooring and countertop and
cool.
The same way you're building a house. So, yeah.
Well, stay tuned. Thank you very much, Leo. We have next Gardening Grows.
Thank you very much.
Support your local charities and win great prizes by playing bingo on Rogers TV.
Oh! Help me! Hurry! Help! Help! Stay down, Hall! There's nothing you can do for him, you hippie! I gotta get him so he's still alive! Come back! Come back, you fool! He's got him! He's bringing him back!
Sergeant Fred Hall lived on Winnipeg's Pine Street. Rob Shanklin lived on Pine Street too. And you know what? So did Leo Clark.
And the hole!
Sergeant! Sergeant! It's Clark. We just heard he took on 20 Germans. Clark?
Clark, Shanklin, Hall. Amazingly, they all won the highest award for courage we could give them, the Victoria Cross. That's why we changed the name of Pine Street to Valor Road.
Innovators have revolutionized how we move,
Suddenly, the world gets faster.
how we interact,
It's about the genius of individuals.
how we work,
It brings knowledge to the people.
eat, play, and live.
You're tasting history, geography, you're tasting the land.
Imagine a life without these innovations.
It'd be mass chaos on a global scale.
The world would be a terrifying place.
How would it impact you?
It just goes on and on.
History Erased. New episode Friday at 10 on History.
Do you have information about a crime that has occurred or is about to occur? This information can help solve crimes, and tipsters always remain anonymous. Crime Stoppers, 1-800-222-TIPS or www.crimenb.ca.
Thank you very much for staying tuned with us this evening to What Matters Most. And I'm up now with my second guest. Her name is Kim Osipchuk. How are you doing tonight?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I feel really bad for Mr. Leo. I rushed him off there. But it is now my second guest, and you are going to talk about vegetables tonight.
I am. Yes. My favorite subject.
So tell us about the gardens, and what is it called?
Well, my gardens are the business name. So I have an agribusiness, and it's called Axel Gardens.
Axel Gardens.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Axel Gardens is actually kind of a dual-purpose garden space.
Okay.
I have a restaurant garden that I grow for some local restaurants in St. John.
Okay.
And then that space also doubles as a teaching space. And the idea behind Axel Gardens is essentially to provide a space that I can help people learn how to grow food at home or at school. I've been working for some schools as well, so I've had school visits come in. And yeah, that's essentially the basics of the business.
So with the schools that are coming in, and you're entertaining, what age groups are you looking at?
Well, so far in the gardens, I've had ages or grades 3 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're young and they're keen and they're curious and full of energy, but it's great. Their curiosity is actually very encouraging to me, so I enjoy having them. Yeah.
So what did you get involved with the gardening in the beginning? What made you decide to do this?
Well, I've actually been organic gardening for 15 years. And I started right after I finished my science degree at UMB. And I took out a loan, and I actually started a business. At the time, it was called Harmony Growers.
Oh.
And that part of the business, or that business, I guess, was more based on direct marketing. So I had a stand at the Kingston Farmers Market on the Kingston Peninsula, and then also had a table in St. Andrews at the St. Andrews Farmers Market.
Oh, okay.
And so my focus at that time was really more selling directly to customers and growing organically. And I sold to local restaurants at that time as well. So Axel Gardens is kind of an extension of what I started with, but I really wanted to add the educational component. So I really would like to be able to help people learn how to get started in their own food growing endeavors.
Right.
Yeah.
I noticed that there's some images that are showing right now.
Yeah.
That looks like indoors. So you have a greenhouse as well, do you?
I do, yeah. So that's the teaching garden and restaurant garden space. And there's a greenhouse, and there's also, it's called a caterpillar tunnel. So essentially, it's a seasonal space. So I take the plastic off during the winter months, but it goes back on. Actually, we're going to put the plastic back up on the tunnel tomorrow.
Oh.
And so it allows for season extension. So and the greenhouse as well, so that I grow. Typically, I have things in the ground already in the greenhouse, and I'll grow in that space until probably mid to late November.
Wow.
Yeah, which is really nice. But the picture that was up there was actually my Sprouts Kids Camps. So I do children's camps as well in the gardens, and they're week-long camps. We do garden activities and lessons, and then we do a nature hike and a swim in the afternoon.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, it's great.
Do you take older kids too?
Yeah, I know. I've had a lot of adults ask me that, actually. Maybe someday.
Yeah. I mean, what a beautiful time to be around gardens and swimming. My gosh.
It really is. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where did the name come from?
Oh, axle. Yeah, that's a good question. So I do get asked that quite often. So axle is actually a plant term or a botanical term, and it's an area on the plant. So you have your stem, and then you have the top of the leaf that goes out this way. The space in there is called the axle, and that's where you have new growth or the bud forms. And so the idea with axle for me, as it relates to the business, is that I want to be able to support new growers or even people who are seasoned but maybe still have questions.
Right.
And that's where that came from.
Oh my gosh. So will you have groups of people that will come out and ask to learn?
I do, yeah. So I actually have workshops. So I do workshops both off-site and on-site.
Okay.
And yeah, I absolutely would be open to private groups. Right now, the workshops that I have are all available on the website, but I bring in 10 to 12 people.
Okay.
And we do all kinds of gardening workshops, kind of from seed starting all the way to herbs, salad, build your own salad bar.
Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah, so, and it's not too complicated. So I try to make it so that anybody if you have no gardening experience whatsoever and you're coming in green,
yes,
that you're comfortable and you can follow along no problem and hopefully go home feeling confident that you are able to carry this forward to a point where you can harvest your own food.
That is really something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to grow some gardening, like lettuces.
Right.
Not very successful.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh,
so
you need to come to a workshop.
I do. I love being outside. I love being in the dirt too.
Me too.
You're digging in the mud, and I call it mud,
right,
in the ground, and it just feels so nice to see things grow. And I'm more of a flower gardener than I am a vegetable garden.
Right.
But it does take time.
It does. It does take time. It's true. But it's a labor of love with rewards, right? So it's not just the kind of thing that you're going to put a bunch of work into, like your car, and you're just going to kind of look at it and go, what did I get out of this? There really is that tangible outcome in the end. So
that is so true.
It's very rewarding.
Yes. Yeah. I feel that way when the deer have recently eaten the tops of my tulips. After all of that work.
Awful?
I know.
The deer.
So
I have
do
a
you
very
have
large
that?
Yes, we have a very high deer population. And you really do need to have fencing, or there are some other like edible landscaping solutions.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, to get some plants in, like even in your ornamental flower beds in the front of the house, for instance. There's the herbs. That's an easy way to throw some herbs in the front of the house, and things like chives or thyme, oregano, and the deer don't eat those, so you don't have to fence those. No. And you can go out
so
and
that kind of
harvest
repels
fresh.
them from the garden, does it? It's like the smell, they don't like it?
They just, they don't like the smell, they don't like the taste, so they won't bother those types of plants. And you can have them right out in the open. So there are some options, even for people in places that, there's a lot of deer pressure, which is quite common in this area.
Wow. So what were those three again? There was thyme.
Yeah, thyme, oregano.
And oregano.
And chives, rosemary. I mean, you could, rosemary's not so much perennial for our area, but the other three are perennial. So once you have them in the ground, they're going to stay in the ground and come back every year.
Wow.
So that's easy.
I could have totally protected those poor tulips with just some oregano and some chives.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe. The tulips are kind of like lollipops to a deer.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Oh, yeah, they love them. Yeah.
Well, I hope they did.
Right, yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Now, somebody had asked you and said, I'd like to start like a small greenhouse. Would you assist people on how to do that, or is that something
I could certainly give some help with that. So, I mean, as far as the actual construction part, I've been a part of building the greenhouse, and actually twice. So when I had my business on the Kingston Peninsula, we built a greenhouse there. And then we moved over to Quispamsis and built a greenhouse there. So I do have some knowledge that way, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen some of the photos that you've sent to me with the colorful vegetables. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, that's one of the beautiful things about growing your own food is that you can, your selection of what you can grow as far as, really fun varieties or different color foods that we're not accustomed to seeing in the grocery store. you have a much bigger selection if you're starting from seed and you're growing it yourself.
Right.
So I do try to do some really fun things, both because it's going to a restaurant and I want to be able to provide something fun for the plate, but also because I love trying fun new things. So last year the big hit, especially with the kids camps, was the purple carrots. So
wow.
Yeah, so they were really, really dark purple all the way through. They were called black nebula carrots. And I mean, it's just so, right? It's so different from anything that we would see in the grocery store. So that's an added bonus to growing your own food as opposed to buying it.
Yeah, in a grocery store.
In a grocery store,
right? Because that's what we normally see. So, what's the reaction of the youth when they see that and say, "I'm not eating that"?
Oh, it's amazing. No, they don't say. It's amazing. You know what? It's really quite. Well, it's encouraging for me, but their enthusiasm and curiosity is always surprising. So I do expect. I have 3 kids, so I do expect sometimes that the children are going to come in and they're going to say, no, I'm not trying that, and they're much more open to it than you would think. And they're curious about it. I mean, I've had kids that told me that they did not like spinach, and when they picked it fresh out of the garden, they ate it and they loved it. And they're leaving it. I didn't even know I liked spinach. Right? Because it's the flavor profile is just so entirely different when it's fresh out of the garden as opposed to what we're getting from the grocery store, right? Because it's been picked right then and there, as opposed to shipped, 1,200 kilometers and in a container. And so it's just nutrient-wise, it's just so much healthier. And then flavor-wise, there's no comparison, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So what's your favorite organic to grow?
My favorite vegetable?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
All of them.
Oh, how do I choose? Well, I think my favorite last year that I found was actually a turnip.
Okay.
So I wasn't really aware of this turnip. They're beautiful. They're white. They look like a beet, and they're more of a spring turnip. So we think of turnips as vegetables that you would grow through the season, and then in the fall you would harvest, like Thanksgiving type of food, right? Sure. Carrots and so this spring turnip, they actually grow really, really quickly. The greens are delicious, and the turnip is white, and they're sort of like a beet, but the flavor, they're sweet and a little bit spicy, like a radish. It turned out to be one of my favorites.
Wow.
Yeah.
My goodness. Now, if somebody wants to follow up with you, I think we have a few minutes, we have about 30 or 40 seconds left.
Okay.
People to follow you, how are they going to follow you?
Well, I have a Facebook page, and it's Axel Gardens.
And you have an event coming up too, right?
I actually have an event coming up. It's called a Sip and Seed at the St. John Ale House. It's May 14th in the evening.
Okay.
And so that's the perfect place for someone who wants to start and get their seeds going for this year's garden. I would love it if you would join me.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, this has been really educational. I've now learned that there's colorful vegetables other than just the regular what you see in the grocery store.
Right.
So I definitely think, you're located where again?
In Quispamsis.
In Quispamsis?
Yeah.
In Pettin?
Just, the continuation of Pettingill Road, so Quispamsis Road.
Quispamsis Road.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kim.
Well,
thank you for being with
me.
us this evening.
Yeah,
All
thanks
right.
so much.
And please stay tuned. We now have our third guest up. His name is Brian, and he's got some interesting kickboxing to go.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
I started playing softball when I was 5 years old. I loved it because it was all about having fun with my friends, and it still is.
From little kids to adults to seniors, softball is a sport for everyone. Join us.
You chose to play cops and robbers, and you lost.
Go!
I'm mad. I'm still mad. It's burned a circuit in my brain.
Superheroes and supervillains are real. We'll show the world what we are capable of. Don't do this. Are you ready?
Do you have something to share? Let everyone know about your next meeting, your need for volunteers, or your fundraising event on the Rogers TV Community Billboard. Send us your words and we'll bring them to life on Rogers TV and rogerstv.com. When it's time to spread the word, go to rogerstv.com to add your announcement to the Community Billboard.
More than half of tips reported through the Crime Stoppers program are now reported online. Information about unsolved crimes, local advisories, and how to report tips anonymously can be found at www.crimenb.ca.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. I'm now with my third guest of the evening on What Matters Most. His name is Brian Mazerol. Hi, Brian.
How you doing?
I'm good. So, Brian, did you kickbox your way in here?
I actually wanted to dance my way in, like that Ellen thing, but I was told at home not to. So.
Oh, well.
So yeah. I figured maybe I won't.
I saw you do a little jiving and then you walked in here.
I tried.
It's all good. So let me ask you, martial arts, is that something you're familiar with?
Yes, it is. I am quite familiar with martial arts. I've been doing some form of martial arts probably for about 26 years, maybe a little bit longer. I'm not sure on my dates.
Okay.
But I've done everything from kickboxing to jiu-jitsu, to some wrestling, some boxing. But kickboxing is what I like to call my specialty.
Okay.
And that's that's where I have the classes going and everything too. So, so then the part of the kickbox, I always liked the striking and the moving. That was always my favorite part. Although I enjoy all aspects of martial arts, but there was just something about kickboxing. It might have been Bruce Lee when I was growing up. That's what it might have did it. Or maybe Rocky, Adrian.
Well, Adrian, yes. Or what was it, the Karate Kid?
Karate Kid, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. You kind of remind me of the Karate Kid. So
the older Karate Kid.
Now, you were a champion, weren't you?
No,
Were you in championships?
No. I've been I've done a lot of fights. I never quite ever won a championship.
Okay.
But our club's TNT Kickboxing.
Okay.
And so I actually have a partner in crime, Anthony Black.
Oh, okay.
And he's been a champion.
So what's the TNT stand for?
That was his fight name. It was Tony TNT Black.
Oh, okay.
So me and him, so Tim Hayes at KV Boxing is his club.
Okay.
And he approached us to start the kickboxing program there.
Really?
Yeah. And so both of us, and the funny thing is, I've been training with Tony since I began. And almost every fight I've been in, he's been in my corner.
Is that
he's helped me train, and I helped him train for a lot of his fights.
Okay.
So we got a lot of experience in there, and we started from the same club. So it's kind of nice to be back together and now sharing our experience with other people.
Okay. So how are people, are they pretty receptive to kickboxing? So
Yeah,
tell me a little bit about that. It sounds really frightening to me, actually.
Right. So I was really surprised at first to see, like the course I started with just what we call the co-ed class. So
okay.
That's how we started. It was just co-ed. And then they're noticing that there's some ladies interested in it. Mm-hmm. So we started the ladies class, and now it's actually bigger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the thing about the class is you have to remember, because a lot of people have a bad perception that, kickboxing or boxing, and there's going to be a lot of attitude
fighting
in there,
and
guys stare at you in the corner and stuff. But our club is really, really friendly.
Yeah.
And we accept it, we welcome everybody and we help everybody. And the best thing about the club, too, is the students really connect and they help each other.
Oh, that's nice.
So a lot of the drills you're working with each other, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's always encouraging, everybody's really encouraging place, and right off the bat, a new person comes in, I see students over helping them out off the bat, and so it's really great atmosphere. Yep. And I think once people get in there and try it, they'll get past perceptions sometimes of a boxing or kickboxing club, right?
Right.
But of course, if you want to fight, we got that going on too, right? So it all depends where you're at. Like we got people getting ready for a fight next week that they're going to be fighting in the ring.
Okay.
So we have 2 fighters.
Men or women?
Oh, we have both. We have Breanne Browns as a girl.
Okay.
And we have Gary McDonald. and both of them will be fighting next weekend, not this weekend, but the May 11th, which is Saturday, up in Fredericton, in a promotion called PKL, Professional Kickboxing League.
Okay.
And they'll be doing some full contact fighting.
Wow.
It's going to be a pretty exciting event.
Is that right?
Yeah, so we have anybody from beginner,
Yeah.
all kinds of ages, right up to people who fight. And then we even have some MMA fighters who will come to our club to get their striking, and they may be based out of another club, but they'll come up to get some of their, polish up their striking skills with us.
So can I be a little naive to this? What does MMA stand for?
Okay, MMA is mixed martial arts. So the big thing that people usually can remember mixed martial arts is the UFC.
Where they only have a face mask, don't they?
No, UFC that you fight. So you actually didn't see it. Okay, UFC is in a cage.
I'm not a fighter. Can you tell?
Right. It's called. A lot of people remember as cage fighting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen that in the movies.
Right. I've done some of it too.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've done some.
You're
MMA.
my friend, right?
Right.
All right. Cool.
So yeah, and that's a totally different thing from kickboxing.
Okay.
But there's kickboxing in it. So of course when you do MMA though, mixed martial arts, you need to have jiu-jitsu, the wrestling, some boxing, and some kickboxing, and of course be in great shape.
Right.
So I mean that's when you start getting to mixed martial arts, it's a totally different ball game. And I think years and years ago you might have been able to get away being really good at one.
Yeah.
But now everyone's learning everything. The sports has really evolved. So
yeah, it's really heightened, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's really, really growing. Like even you see the MMA now. I mean, you used to just see it here and there. Now it's on ESPN, TSN. It's becoming a mainstream sport, and it's really growing across the world too.
Well, this is one reason why when I found out what you did, I thought this is really interesting to let other people know what you do, especially with your. Studio or your class is held in Quispamsis, you said?
Yes.
But only Quispamsis?
Yes. So the club actually, what our program is based out of is KV Boxing.
Okay.
So if you go out to Quispamsis, and it used to be a co-op, but it's Foodland now. One Market Street is called. So right where and you'll see the Foodland. You drive around the back, and you'll see the door. And you come in there, and we got a nice big ring and a nice full-size gym.
Yeah.
And Tim Hayes runs all the boxing programs, and there's all kinds of boxing for kids, boxing's for particular like just girl only, co-ed. There's competitive, and he actually does work with the Kingsway, the nursing home. So he has what? Yeah, he has people he like special care home come up and they really great work with them. He's been doing.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, maybe a good guest for you. Come
on. I guess so, right?
Yeah.
With the kids, what age group are you looking at?
I'm not sure on his age, but I know it goes right from 3 or 4 even.
Is that right?
And he has different programs depending on the age.
Okay.
So now that's all boxing. Ours is a separate program, but it's in the same gym. So Jim.
Yeah.
Tim runs the gym.
Tim runs the gym. That rhymes.
Right.
So I know that as a sport, any sport is physical. So do you find that the ladies are signing up for, and I'm asking this personally, for strength, or is it core?
Yes, well, for both. Actually, the good thing about like kickboxing is it's harder than like what you consider cardio, so it's more of an anaerobic exercise, a bit of metabolic, because you're using your muscles to move in, and plus it's a really high amount of cardiovascular at the same time. So boxing's great, but then when you start throwing those legs in, because your legs are big muscles, you really burn. Your heart gets strong, your lung gets strong. And it's really popular. I'm finding with the girls are really loving it. And anybody who seems to try it right off the bat, they're hooked.
Yeah.
Right.
So what kind of equipment do you need to come into?
Well, if you want to come out and try it, realistically, you could just show up with nothing.
You're gonna knock me out. If you get back up, you get
right. You get free membership, right? Right. Now, so like. Generally, once you get going, though, you'd want a set of hand wraps.
Okay.
And then a set of gloves.
Yeah.
And basically that's it, because we have like what we call Thai pads. I mean, we supply all the pads. But if you want to start sparring, then you're going to need your mouth guard, headgear, and a pair of shin pads for sparring. So there's only a few people that spar, because a lot of people just want to do it and have fun and get in shape. Not saying sparring is fun. I enjoy it, but it's not everyone's cup of tea, right?
Sure.
So a lot of people may not ever want to spar ever. So it's all dependent on the person, the amount of equipment you need, I guess, depending on where you want to go with it.
Right.
So if you just want basics, a pair of gloves and hand wraps, because we go bare feet.
Wow.
That's it. Yeah.
So if somebody wants to join up, can they follow you on Facebook or?
Yes, we have a Facebook page, and it'll
Okay.
be TNT Kickboxing and Fitness.
Okay.
And then also Tim Hayes has the KV Boxing Club.
Okay.
And then you can find that on Facebook and just on the internet too, like a web page.
Yeah.
So you could go to either one, but our page personally is TNT Kickboxing and Fitness.
Right on. So where have you been in your course of your life? Like, have you been all around the world? Where have you been?
I basically lived in St. John since I was grade 1.
Okay.
So like before that, I did quite a bit of traveling. My father was in the military, so I did a little bit around the world but I don't remember much of it, right? But so by the time I started school, I've been in St. John.
Okay.
And basically, I grew up just like everyone else, played some hockey and stuff. Sure. But I always, I had an uncle, Frank Mazur, he was always into karate. Okay. And he actually fought in the Pan American Games. And he ran a club down here called Keo Karate Club.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, he still actually does it now. And so I was always interested in that through him. And plus, I say, like, Bruce Lee and all.
Yes.
Like, I always had to watch those movies, and I just loved them. So I eventually always wanted to try it. And then, of course, as I got a little older, I started seeking out where to train, and that's basically how I got started in it then. And I met Rob Doley it was called the Doley Academy on King Street, and that's where I met Tony. And that's where I've been training. I did a little bit of karate before that, but that's when I really got serious at that point there.
Yeah. Now, I want to interject though. You've been on a movie recently?
Oh okay. So there's a movie called The Pugilist.
Yes.
And I've been have a part as the main character. I'm one of his trainers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's really fascinating. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it should be it's going to be released in the fall.
Okay.
And it's an independent release.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be moved on to festivals around, and so the director is Jeffrey Kelly.
Okay.
So I'm not sure exactly what festivals are going in, but I know he has a plan, and I know he's a very good director, and he's very good at what he does, and I know that the movie will get out, and we're really looking forward to it, and it's going to be full length. It's right now running about 83 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't want to say too much about it because I'm just one of the actors, but yeah, I'm really excited about it.
But you're one of the fighters in the film.
Right. So like I'm actually like a fighter that's training the guy to fight type thing, right? Like I'm his partner.
Right.
But there's a little twist to it, so I don't want to say it.
Oh.
Right. But and we filmed all that at Orem Octoboxing, KV Boxing, and then of course there's several scenes from hospitals and stuff. It's been a pretty big production.
Awesome.
And we had some good sponsors behind it too, like Ringside and stuff got in behind us, and
I love that.
And it's I'm really looking forward to see that.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian, for being with me tonight. I'm very actually excited to see if I can maybe try out the kickboxing. Well, maybe.
You can come out anytime. And anybody wants to try it too. I just always like to throw it out. The first week is free.
Okay.
Because
cool.
I don't want anybody to commit and then decide to hate it. First week is always free.
Thank you, Brian. Stay tuned. We're going to hear about the Asian Heritage Month coming right after this break.
So you'll be fighting in France tomorrow, huh? Well, good luck, Captain Colwell. No one you can be sure will take very good care of the bear. You are noting that it's the official mascot of the 2nd Canadian Infantry Brigade?
Yes, sir.
So long, Winnie. You be a good girl while I'm gone.
Why Winnie, sir?
From my hometown, Winnipeg.
Oh, Daddy, I just love Winnie. Couldn't we take him home with us?
Christopher Robin, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll write some stories about Winnie, and Mr. Shepherd here will draw some pictures.
Oh, Daddy, let's call him Winnie the Pooh.
Why Pooh, son?
I don't know, just Winnie the Pooh.
And that's how a young Canadian soldier's bear inspired 4 volumes of stories and verse that still sell millions of copies around the world.
Support your local charities and win great prizes by playing bingo on Rogers TV.
They're big on friendship, big on family.
I get all emotional.
I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without my family.
Thanks, Dad! Go get them! And big on fun.
I'm so excited.
But what they need
Ready?
is speed.
Let's go! Go fast. With the hair on fire, it's the only way to go. All hell's gonna break loose.
I am the man to beat.
Woo! I'm actually scared. That's big rig racing, brother.
Sometimes you get kicked in the teeth.
Big Rig Warriors, new back-to-back episodes Tuesday at 9 on History.
Did you know, since 1985, Crime Stoppers has helped solve close to 8,000 crimes in New Brunswick? Crime Stoppers, 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477 or www.crimenb.ca.
Thank you so much for staying tuned with me. I'm now with my 4th guest of the evening on What Matters Most, and his name is Sam Diaz, and he is here with the Asian Heritage Month. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, and I pronounced your name correctly.
Yes, it is okay.
What is your full official name?
Somaditya Das.
Wow,
But
I'm so glad that you gave
Som
me
is
the
short and
version.
simple. You can call me Som, no problem.
Well, I'm so glad you're here with me this evening. So, Asian Heritage Month, let's talk about that. So what is going on for Asian Heritage Month?
A lot of things will be happening. So every year we celebrate the month of May as the Asian Heritage Month. So we are starting with our opening ceremony on the 5th of May, that is this coming Sunday.
Yes, it
at
is.
Market Square. And then the following Saturday, that is 11th, we are celebrating a festival of lights at the Lily Lake Pavilion, Rockwood Park.
Oh, nice.
And that will have a mix of cultural and educational things, plus a sunset yoga. And I think the most attractive thing will be after sundown, we are planning to float 300 candles on the Lily Lake.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah, so to me, it will be a beautiful spectacle to watch.
Yeah.
And so I invite you and all the people to come there and light a candle in memory of someone you love.
That is wonderful. And how pretty that is going to be.
Yeah, I'm expecting a great lot
turnout.
of crowd from that event. And then the following Saturday, that is 18th, we are having a fun event. That is a Bollywood dance workshop at the McAllister Place in partner with the Bollywood dance studio INC. And then the last Saturday of May, we are having the Asian Heritage Gala at the Marco Polo cruise ship terminal.
Oh, okay.
And throughout the month of May, if you visit the St. John Public Library, we are having Asian Heritage art exhibits. And every Saturday, if you visit the city market, we will have a multicultural market in partnership with the Newcomer Center.
Really?
So that is our event plan for the month of May.
That's fantastic. So how many people are involved in the in doing all the events for the month?
So we have an organizing committee, and that has representation from 7 countries. We have representatives from China, India, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Philippines, Korea, and of course from Canada. And we have also reached out to the community for volunteers, and people are very eager to help us. So together we are organizing all these events. And of course we have partners who are helping us every year to organize the events and help us grow.
Wow, okay. And I think the Imperial Theater used to have a show there, is that correctly?
Yeah, so a few years ago we had the gala at the Imperial Theater, but this time it will be, the venue will be the cruise ship terminal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we sometimes have it in the St. John High School. We keep on changing the venue.
Sure, sure. And you have young children, like all ages involved, don't you?
Yeah, all ages from different communities, then men, women, kids, everyone participating.
Oh, nice. Oh, there's a nice, beautiful couple photos up there. If you can maybe, I think that's You see that?
Yeah,
television?
that's a photo from the last year. It was the 10th year of our celebration. This year's is the 11th year.
Wow.
So we had, as a part of opening, a flash mob at Market Square.
A flash mob.
Yeah, so the picture that you saw, that was the picture of the flash mob.
Oh my gosh, that would be really incredible. So what did they do? What's a flash mob?
Flash mob is something that you don't expect. You're expecting something on the stage, and suddenly people all around you who were spectators, they suddenly start dancing around you in a coordinated way. So that was an element of surprise last year at the opening.
And how do you coordinate something like that?
Oh, that calls for a lot of practice.
I guess
we
it
practice
would.
for at least 2 months every weekend.
Really?
Yeah, and it involved a lot of coordination. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Now I've seen some the ballet dancing. I'm pronouncing that incorrect.
Bollywood dance?
Bollywood dance.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I've admired it on movies and TV shows. I don't know if I have quite the coordination. Do you teach? Do they teach it well? Or?
Yeah, so we have this Bollywood dance studio, INC,
Okay.
recently formed, and
Where's that located?
That happens in the dance studio at Uptown, I guess. So the owner of that studio is also a committee member, Chayan.
Oh, okay.
And he's a very good instructor. He's instructing people how to move your hands and shake your hips and dance with the Bollywood's beats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we will. I'm expecting people will have a lot of fun. When we conduct the workship at the McAllister Place. So everyone will be watching and they can also participate.
Oh my goodness, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So you're in McAllister inside the mall.
Yes. Yeah. Inside the mall.
Really? How many people do you are going to be there in support of the Asian Heritage Month from your community that are doing the dance? How many people do you think are going to be there?
This event, we cannot accommodate a lot of people, but this will be based on registration. I think we can accommodate around 25 to 30 people.
Really?
But others can always stand and watch, and if they want, they can start dancing. No issues with that.
I don't know, but it is very like a step style and movement style.
Yeah,
so
it's a freestyle kind of a dance.
Yeah.
Something similar to hip hop,
Yeah.
but it has some Indian touch in it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love the music too. The music
Yeah.
is really exciting. So with the Asian Heritage Month, everything, is it free to the public, or is there some things that are fees? And
No, all the events are free to the public.
All events?
All events are free to the public.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how's that all funded?
So we started back in 2008, and during our infancy, we didn't have much fun. So our parent chapter is the Asian Heritage Society of New Brunswick Fredericton chapter.
Okay.
We used to have funding support from them. From 2011, we started applying for government funds, and now we are getting a very strong support from the government of Canada through different programs like the Canadian Heritage, then St. John Community Arts Funding and the like.
Okay.
And as we are growing, we are also thinking the option to explore private funding if possible. Yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yes, oh yes. I think it definitely has certainly an attraction, and it's built up since the first years that I've seen anyway. You've seen, like, I think it was at the Asian Heritage concert, or it was the festival. It was at the Imperial, and it was sold out.
Right, right.
It was amazing. And the talent that are here.
Yeah, you will get a mix of diverse culture there because Asia is such a big continent and it has so many countries with their rich history, heritage, and culture. So if you have all the countries together performing, it's a treat to watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite to take part in?
This year I am very busy with organizing things because I am the current chairperson.
Oh, okay.
But last year I participated in the flash mob. Actually, I was coordinating the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So you had to be at all those meetings and all those.
Yeah, a lot of
routines,
preparations
right?
are going on at the back end. Every week we are meeting and pondering our heads over so many things.
Yes. Well, what made you think about the flash mob? Where'd that idea come from?
We were planning to do something new last year because it was our 10th year.
Okay.
So just to create some excitement among the crowd, we came up with an idea.
So what was the experience from the crowd around you? Were they
They were initially surprised and shocked. Okay, and then when they realized, they already realized that they are also dancing with the beats. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Was that on video or anything?
Yeah, it's there in the YouTube. If you search with St. John Asian Flash Mob, you'll get the link. It's there in the
right?
YouTube. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Is there food venues going to be involved at all?
Food. Most of the events will have some refreshment kinds of a thing.
Okay.
And this Asian multicultural market, we will have few food vendors, but those are for sale. So if you want to get a taste of different Asian cuisines, then go there or not only Asian, I think that's multicultural. It's more than Asia. Other vendors are also involved.
Sure.
But there is something special. There is something called Asian Foodie Crawl, and that is a lucky draw event.
Okay.
We will give the winners a chance to visit 3 restaurants to have a taste of Asian foods.
Oh,
and
nice.
There will be a bus. There will be a bus too to take the winners to those restaurants, and they will get a chance to taste different Asian cuisines this time. So
Really?
it will be based on lucky draw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So is there tickets for that?
Yeah, but those are not priced. So
They're no?
No, they're not priced. So all the events are free. Everything is free for Asian heritage. And the more you participate in the events, the more you promote the events online in Facebook, you share the events, we will track those online activities.
Wow.
And we will have some lucky draw from those interested people, and we'll give the tickets to, I think we are planning to give 15 couple tickets, so we can accommodate 30 people in that
Really?
Asian Foodie Crawl. Yeah.
That is really unique. I love that. You're going to get a lot of people on board on that.
I hope so.
Yeah. That's exactly what we want. I wanted to ask a quick question of the lighting of the ceremony of the water
Festival of Lights.
The Festival of
we are
Light.
calling that Eastern Lights.
Okay.
So I came to know that there is something called the International Day of Light, which is celebrated all over the world by the United Nations on the 16th of May.
Okay.
And since that is May, we thought of celebrating that as a part of our Asian Heritage Month. So we will have kids doing research projects and presenting them at the festival. We will have cultural performances. We will have sunset yoga, because yoga is also related to assimilating the solar energy within you. And lastly, after the sundown, we'll have that spectacle of floating hundreds of candles on the Lily Lake.
I think that is going to be beautiful. I think that's a great opportunity for anybody who's watching this tonight and knows that's the 16th.
This year, this is the 11th year of the celebrations.
It's the 11th year, but it's going to be on the 16th?
Oh, so here we are celebrating on the 11th.
Oh, the 11th,
11th Saturday. 16th is a weekday, so we thought of celebrating
that's right.
on the weekend.
Yeah. Definitely the 11th.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, definitely. I would think that would be a photo op for sure.
Thank you, and you're also most welcome to attend all the events.
Well, thank you. I certainly will hope to take in some of them for sure. And if somebody wants to just catch up on you really quickly, Facebook would be a good one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Facebook. We have a Facebook page, we have a website, and we have an email also.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank
I
you,
hope
too.
everybody will take in some of the activities that are going to be festive
Sure,
around
thank
it.
you.
It's
Yeah.
always beautiful. So thank you so much. I'd like to thank the volunteers at Rogers Studio for helping us this evening. I'd also like to thank Som. Thank you so much. And of course, Brian, Kim, and Leo, and you, the studio audience that we have. So please remember that if you have somebody that has an interesting story to tell, or is an interesting person on their own, that they've done something, please send it to Rogers TV, and I'll have them on television.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
When you become a Rogers volunteer, it's always an opportunity for everybody to come together and try different things that they've never been able to do before.
What I've learned here is different skills that I thought I would never even be interested in learning.
By being here at Rogers, I can learn all these different things that will help me be stronger.
Working here as a volunteer is a good way to get to know your community It's a good way to learn how to work as a part of a team.
They're people from our community, so they know and they have a heart for our community to step outside of our comfort zone and do more.
Don't be afraid, because this is where you're going to gain the most valuable experience that you can use in your future.
I encourage everybody to be a volunteer at Rogers TV because not only do you grow professionally, you grow personally as well.
This is Rogers TV, New Brunswick.
Hey, did you know?
More than 4,500 Canadians are waiting for an organ transplant right now.
Right now. 4,500.
People are dying.
And you could save a life. 90% of Canadians say they're willing to donate their organs.
But only a few are registered.
So what are you waiting for? Get registered.
It's easy and it's free.
Leave a legacy. Be a hero.
Save a life.
Find out how to register today. Go to kidney.ca.